Today is February 23rd. The rundown. It's all about the Oscars today, really. So let's start. I guess you guys can talk. We'll go through the major things, throw in any points you may want to add. Neil Patrick Harris, do you like him as the host? Does he have a big dick? Those are kind of the two things that we'll be talking about. I see you shaking your head, Big Cap, but that was the takeaway, right? Does he have a huge dick?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it seemed like he was stuffing. So, wouldn't you stuff something if you were going in front of like 20 million people?
No doubt.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think the big dick debate is inconclusive at best.
I wouldn't wear though like those type of, and I maybe did it for a joke. Is he wearing that type of underwear for a joke, or does he wear that type of underwear?
No, those are the underwears that Michael Keaton wears in Birdman. That's the joke. The whole thing was a scene from Birdman.
Okay. I didn't know that. I haven't seen Birdman.
Yeah.
If that's a stuff job, that was a perfect stuff job. Whoever did that for him, like, tip your cap, because that's how you want it to look, put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, he's in Hollywood. They have makeup guys, and like they could have probably put a prosthetic dick on him that looked like the most real dick of all time if he wanted. I mean, you're in the perfect place for a perfect stuff job, and for bloggers like us to be like, hey, does Neil Patrick Harris have a huge dick the next day?
They had to know that was going to be like the conversation. You don't go out there with your dick hanging on the floor and be like, oh, people aren't going to be like, holy cow, Doogie Howser has a monster dick. I mean, they had to know that was the conversation. It wasn't like we're being weirdos or perverts or like KFC. You're acting like your facial expressions, like everyone's talking about his dick. That's a big topic today.
I haven't seen anybody except for
I haven't seen anyone either. I've only seen
one person talking about it.
All right, well, that's not true. If we go back and look at like the tweets and shit, the internet was freaking out. I mean,
I feel
no. Listen, in the moment, of course, everyone was like, "Wow, look at that dick." It's like 24 hours later, and we're leading our show with it. That's because of you.
I feel like sometimes, Dave, you have like dick blinders on, where like the horses and horse racing have the blinders on, so they can only see in front of them. Like you can only see people talking about dicks, whereas the rest of it is just noise, white noise that you can't even see.
No, there's just one of many topics that I felt deserved to be discussed. Did you think he's getting killed? I didn't think it was that bad of a host either. I mean, I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was awful. He was whatever.
Hosting the Oscars is like the worst job in the world. It's like you get all the blame, none of the glory. I thought he was fine. It is what it is. Like, what do you want him to do?
And it's a brutal room. I mean, that's a brutal room to play to because everyone's self-important. Everyone thinks they're the best. No one can crack. If you try to make jokes about other people, everyone gets upset, and it's a tough room. And I will say the only thing that sucked was they held on to that box bit for way too long. They always do that, though. Remember Ellen did the pizza thing? It's stupid.
And they're already running real late. Someone's going to make a call. That's what I do when I run my Barstool shit. If you're running that late, you just cut it. You cut it and move on to the next.
Well, they were running late because all these fucking foreigners thought that they just could walk right through the Wrap It Up music. That guy from Poland,
yeah,
he shouldn't be allowed back in America. You can't he beat the Wrap It Up music. He did it. He talked for so long that the Wrap It Up music stopped and they didn't have anything to play. That's a crime.
It's all foreign too these days. I don't think any Americans even win Oscars anymore. It's everyone from different countries winning everything.
Yeah, you need like a weird haircut and an accent, and then they'll give you an Oscar.
Yeah, and no one cares. I mean, like all these weird categories, they should give those awards out not on live TV. Just do a quick scroll. No one fucking cares about that shit. Travolta, I mean, I don't know what he was doing. I mean, I guess I do. He was being Travolta. Somebody had a good thing. He's like the Joe Namath of like the Oscars. Like that's who Travolta is. Charlotte Johansson was like horrified, almost puked. Like she literally almost puked. What do we got on our boy Travolta, KFC?
He's like in the running for creepiest dude, period. He's like at the top of the charts right now. He wears the wigs all the time. He looks like a wax statue at this point. He doesn't even look human. He's always really like smiling and happy. He's just over the top with it. And then obviously when you start touching people, but that creepy smile where his face looks fake just takes him to the next level weird.
Big Cat.
What it is it's like in 40-Year-Old Virgin when they ask Steve Carell what boobs feel like, and he's like a bag of sand because he hasn't touched any. Travolta doesn't know how to interact with women because he's probably gay. So he's just walking around grabbing faces, kissing people. Like, that's not a normal way to interact with just random women, you know? And so he's just trying so hard. Like, you can almost see it like, oh, is this what you're supposed to do? Like, grab a chick's face and, like, feel her chin? And then everyone's like, Travolta, stop, dude. Just stop.
Yeah, what is the deal with his wife, Kelly Preston, right? Because she's, like, hot and pretty, and, I mean, is she just a beard, or is she just sitting there being like, what's my man doing right now? That's almost the weirdest dynamic of it. Lady Gaga, a news report, the chick said, what'd she say? She couldn't understand what Lady Gaga was singing because it was like jigaboo music or something. And she says it to a black guy.
Julie Andrews joined on stage, gave her a hug, and called it wonderful.
It was
It's very
wonderful.
impressive, though, isn't it?
It's hard to really hear her voice
Lady Gaga.
with all the jigaboo music that she do, whatever you want to call it, jigaboo.
I'm going to confess, I read your blog, Big Cat. I didn't know jigaboo. I really didn't know what that meant. I didn't know it was racist. I wouldn't use it. It's not a term I use. But I didn't know it was that offensive. So I still really don't know what it means.
So the question then is, you didn't even know the term jigaboo, correct?
I mean, don't be a jigaboo. Like, if someone said that, I wouldn't raise an eyebrow.
That's it.
I literally don't. I still don't know what it means.
Have you ever said that? Have you ever said, like, don't be a jigaboo to someone?
No, jigaboo is not a term that I have. Like, it's not a word. I pull words out of my repertoire that occasionally I use. That's not one of them. I would never say jigaboo, but I really don't know what it means. Like, if I heard it in a conversation, I wouldn't be like, whoa, that's offensive. That word doesn't register to me. I don't know what it means. I still don't.
You're just like so not racist. You like don't even know these things, right?
That's what I said that her excuse is. If she's like firing at people on Twitter, she's like, I don't even know what that word means. She's doing. I actually appreciate this when people do this. I'm so not racist that I don't even know what racist things mean. Like, I don't even see color. I don't even know my co-host is black. I respect that. That's a great way to get out of this.
What does jigaboo mean? Is anyone going to tell me?
It's like another word for basically the N-word, is it not?
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
It's usually used with music. Like, if you like hate black people music, you'd say like, oh, it's jigaboo music.
Oh.
That's why it's ridiculous that she's like, I didn't even know it was a word, because I feel like it's always used in conjunction with jigaboo. Like, if you didn't know it was a word, you wouldn't fucking say the word jigaboo.
Right. I would never say it because I literally, like, it's what she said it, so she has to. You can't say it and then be like, I don't know what it means when you use it perfectly.
Right. The first, yeah, right, exactly. But the first related word in Urban Dictionary is the N-word.
Okay. So I'm not going to use that word then.
I wouldn't go around being like, you're acting like a jigaboo.
No, I won't. I'm not going to do that. That word is scratched from my thing. By the way, Lady Gaga, everyone was freaking out how great it is. I didn't like the song, Sound of Music, whatever, fine. Lady Gaga I like, but she's got to get back. She was one of the all-time hit makers. Like, all-time hit makers.
But, see, I disagree. I mean, artists do this shit. She's doing like a little fucking, like with Tony Bennett and all this crap, like being a lounge singer. Let her do it for a couple of years. She'll get back. This is just, you can't make hits 24/7. That's not possible.
I want her to get back to being really weird. Like, she's toned it down. I want her to wear, like, when she had that big fur triangle helmet thing on, I want her to be a fucking wacko.
Would you
She
say,
will.
Final Break?
I guarantee that she will get back to that.
Yeah, Pitbull, Taylor Swift. There's a lot of people who just churn out every album's hits.
Well, Pitbull is like of a different world. That guy is a hit machine.
Yeah, Pitbull knows what he is. Lady Gaga wants to be, like, taken seriously.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, yeah, but she was taken serious. When Lady Gaga, like, Poker Face, Bad Romance, those albums had, like, 5 number ones on every album. They were awesome. She's going to get back to that.
I just think that, you just have to let her, an artist like that, you got to let him go off and it'll come back. Tiger doesn't change his stripes. She'll be back to freaky, weird Gaga soon enough. You could tell it last night. She came out with like those big gloves on the red carpet and a dress that was all weird. She's getting back towards it.
I guess I'm paying her a compliment. I actually really like Gaga when she's making like popular music. I love it. So get back to that and give the world what we want. Chris Pine. So The Oscars and all these award shows are sneaky like the most racist shows. Not racist, but like most segregated. That's probably the way I'd use. Like the black people sit together and like go bananas. Well, it's literally like 20 black people versus the rest of the white people, and that's how these shows kind of set up. And Oprah's there and Common, and they're high-fiving and crying. And then Chris Pine is...
Are you like pissed that we don't get like that moment? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm saying like it seems like every year the only way that we see like black people at these award shows, if they've made some like Selma or Rootsy, like it's some theme of slavery, and you put all the black people and put Oprah in the middle, and that it's like everybody else on the other side, as opposed to them getting recognized for just like mainstream movies. You guys are looking like I said that. I mean, what I just said is a fucking fact.
I'm waiting for you to drop Jigaboo like any second.
Yeah, I am too.
What I just said is a fact. I'm not.
What you basically said was they only get recognized for when they make Jigaboo movies.
All right.
I feel like we're gonna get in a lot of trouble for just dropping Jigaboo left and right.
Well, it's context. You got people understand it's in context of this.
Yeah, I agree
with you, Dave. Though, keep going. I actually agree with you.
And then Chris Pine. And speaking of that. The Questlove thing, that like threw people off yesterday when I said that was Afro Man, clearly referencing when we talked about it before, and people like absolutely were losing their minds that we made the Questlove Afro Man joke. Well, you already made that joke, whatever. Back to Chris Pine. Was he fake crying? Was that Wedding Crashers when you dropped the Visine in your eye? Because and he led the standing O, by the way. He also led the standing O. It was almost like the cameras are too quick to find the white crying guy. I think he may have been like, you let me know, and I'll be there. Because you can't...
The worst evidence is that he left it on his face. If you cry, you wipe your face right away. Don't let a tear drip into your beard. He was looking around like, did you get... Okay, you got me? All right, I'm crying. You see this? I'm the white guy crying.
I wrote the blog. That's all. It doesn't matter about black, white, whatever. Crying on your face and just letting it stay there is a psycho move. That's a psycho move. I don't know anyone who does that.
And it wasn't that emotional for a white person to cry. I mean, it was emotional, but if it didn't affect you directly or something, like there's certain things you watch and everybody cries. That didn't, and I'm a quick crier, by the way. That's a little sneaky, but I fight the fuck out of it. I don't care if I'm watching a movie with Renee. I'll try to hide it and go to the bathroom. I don't like openly crying. It's not my gig. I think it makes you look weak. I don't care if you're alone. If you're alone, I let it flow. Like I read that Harlow and Sage book by myself, and I was a disaster. But other than that, in public, I'm not like if I'm in a movie theater or the Oscars, I'm not just openly crying. You got to fight that back. I think it was staged. I think Chris Pine staged it. It was well played. Tip your cap to him.
But do you think it was like he was able to force a real tear, like he's a good enough actor, or do you think it was like literally a Wedding Crasher sort of thing?
I'd hope a guy at the Oscars could force the tear. I'd like to believe in something.
Anyone can force a tear.
No way. Force a tear right now.
Force a tear.
Right now.
Hold on. Don't make me laugh. You just got to think about your dog dying.
Yeah. You got nothing. You're not like Davey Teardrops.
Keep going. I'm gonna.
Yeah, but this proves that he did it already in a faster time frame than you.
On this for the rest of the episode. Just keep going.
Davey Teardrops would have had a whole face full right now.
Mayweather versus Pacquiao. This fight's announced. First of all, huge conflict of interest for me. I was going to go to the Derby for the first time in my life. May 2nd is now. By the way, you can't cry like that. I mean, if he closed his eyes like he was totally like he was trying to will himself to cry, we know that he wasn't really crying. Like you can't just sit there with your eyes closed.
Imagine if Chris Pine was just sitting there doing that.
Yeah, like,
I need to look at my dog.
Like your fingers in your ears, just like this, and then you just open your eye and the water wells come out. Mayweather Pacquiao. They're saying this is going to be a bigger betting event than the Super Bowl, which I don't see how that's possible. But it's going to be the biggest fight in forever. Couple things here. I don't know whether I want to go to the Derby now or we should be in Vegas. I'm trying to get DraftKings to get involved in maybe a Vegas house for this fight. Number 2, are the odds out on this fight?
Yes.
What is it?
It was the initial odds that I saw were Mayweather like minus 250, Pacquiao plus 200.
Okay, so he's a major underdog. That's right. I don't think there's any way Mayweather loses this fight. 3, I'm happy for it, but I am a cynical bastard because this fight's like 10 years too late, and I still want to watch it, but it's so late, and it's just, it's not the best fight now. It's been going on for so long. I'll watch it. I'm a boxing fan, but it's still everything that's wrong with boxing, and just because they're fighting now doesn't change how bad they fuck this shit up. Big Cat.
I totally agree. Mayweather's going to beat him. Anyone who thinks that, I just don't see any way that Pacquiao is going to win this fight. He, like you said, it's 5 years too late, and the 5 years that have passed have only hurt Pacquiao more than Mayweather because he's lost a couple fights. He got knocked out. That fucks with your psyche. He used to be the best offensive fighter. He's lost a little bit of a step, whereas Mayweather, he's going to do what Mayweather does. He's going to win with defense. He's going to win on the cards, and it's going to be one of those fights that Mayweather does this, where you buy the fight, and then at the end, you're like, shit, what did I just buy? To answer your question, your blog question, Kentucky Derby by far is going to be better, because if you bet the whole day, you know what I mean? Then that's like a whole slate, whereas the fight's only, a half hour.
Yeah, my reasoning with the fight is you're going to have to be, I think, like a megastar to get anywhere even close to the ring there.
I saw face value was $1,000.
Right. And those are probably like nosebleeds.
And those are before they get to the secondary market. So those are already sold.
You'll be getting like KFC wedding seats if you go to
Yeah. If we're lucky. KFC, you got anything on this fight?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna buy into it just because I think everyone's just gonna get excited for it because it's just the name and people want to get hyped up for a big sporting event. But the joke already is like everyone's saying, I already regret buying the fight. I already know how it's going to end. So it's hard for me to take it that serious or treat it like the biggest sporting event ever when everyone knows it's going to be a disappointment.
Yeah, I will say the only thing, like Bob Arum said this, and it's his spin zone, obviously. It'll be a more exciting fight now than it would have been if they fought when they should have, because they were both quicker, faster, more defensive. Whereas Mayweather has shown lately he's willing to punch a little bit more. I don't know that he'll do this in this fight because I think he's known he can't lose in the past, so he's not afraid to go in and scramble.
Also, if they had done the fight 5 years ago, they might have set it up where they could have rematches and everything. This is a one-shot deal, which actually helps us because this is it for Pacquiao. He's got to, you can't rely on having a rematch here. You have to beat Mayweather now, or
the late rounds could be fun if Pacquiao knows he's got to go in for it.
But that's the problem. Is it like everyone always gets upset? They're like, "Oh, why aren't you going after Mayweather?" They are. It's just he's so fucking good they can't touch him.
Right, and to be honest, the more dangerous Mayweather perceives his opponent, the more he goes into you can't hit me. Like his better fights have been versus guys who he knows can't knock him out, can't do anything. So we'll go in and mix it up. Yeah, again, it'll be interesting. I'll watch it. It's $90, whatever. I'll watch it, whether I'm in Vegas or. But yeah, I agree with you on the fight, Big Cat. But a big fight atmosphere in Vegas is kind of like it permeates the whole city. It's like nothing else. So
it's also, I can't remember the last time there was a fight. It was probably Mayweather De La Hoya, which turned out to be a dud. But that's probably the last time there was. Not saying that was a good fight because it wasn't. But the last time there was this much hype where it's going to cross over into people who don't usually watch boxing.
Right. I mean, people are saying it's like boxing's closing act. This will be the last big major fight in the history of the sport. Could be true. Could be. I mean, when's the last time there's been a fucking heavyweight that you actually want to watch? And by the way, it sucks because I love boxing. I'm still way more of a boxing fan than I am MMA. Drunk hockey dad. I feel like this is just what drunk hockey dads do. He's screaming to fight somebody, slurring his speech. He's a drunk hockey dad.
Don't say you're a fucking monkey, beardhead fuck. All right, relax. You guys want to fucking go? So fuck yourself, you fucking goof. Got my voice here. I'm sorry, I shut the fucking mouth. You're the one that started it, you motherfucker. I never started nothing.
KFC?
This video was like a 9.5, and then the Canadian accent made it a full-blown 10. That is the icing on the cake. The fact that there are like tons of little children in the background, and he's ready to take his jacket off, and he's got the Canadian accent. It was amazing.
Big Cat?
Yeah, it was. I was laughing the whole way through, and then my softer side came out when his like maybe 6-year-old daughter grabbed him and asked him to sit down, and she's got like her little doodle drawing in one hand. She's been, going with crayons while she watches her brother play. And then on the left of her drunk dad is trying to fight the whole ring. So then I was like, okay, maybe this isn't that funny.
Last up, Doug from The Hangover and Jill Martin at the Knicks game. This is like a really bizarre interview all the way around.
But I liked American Sniper a lot. My boy Bradley is fantastic, so I like that one.
Now, he's always...
You gotta stop texting me about him, by the way. You gotta stop with the texting about Bradley. I know he's sexy and he's great, but it's enough already.
Is there a chance that there will be a Hangover 4?
No, there's no chance.
No chance?
No. There maybe, maybe we could do something like me and you, and we could get, Bradley to
I don't know how this became about me. We wanted to talk about you, but on that note...
Doug from The Hangover, has he been in anything except The Hangovers?
No, and that's why I think that's where this all came from. I mean, first of all, we're doing a Knicks matinee at like 12:30. They're getting blown out by 30 points. Doug from The Hangover is the only thing they got going. And she's asking him in one breath about Bradley Cooper winning the Oscar. And in the other breath, are you going to do Hangover 4? That's where this whole thing starts from, is Doug just being like, fuck this. So he grabs the mic and takes it over and basically wants to have sex with her and Bradley Cooper. But it all stems from the fact that he went nowhere and the rest of those guys are next-level stars.
He never had a chance. They didn't let – I mean, he never had a chance. He
movies.
Wasn't in the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to say, what would you rather be – like, I would actually not trade lives with that guy, honestly. Because his life sucks. Like, everyone's, for the rest of his life, is going to be like, oh, that's Doug from The Hangover. He's not, he wants to be a real actor. He's not a real actor. He's doing this kind of shit. And everyone's like, oh, Doug from The Hangover. What's up with that guy? Like, that's kind of weird. He's probably calling Bradley Cooper to see if they want to hang out. And Bradley Cooper, like, changed his number on him. So, the whole thing, like, Doug from The Hangover, get away.
It's like Dinkelman or whatever that guy who was the first host on American Idol was Seacrest. Was that his name? Dinkelman? They had two hosts on American Idol to start. And then they just cut Dinkelman, kept Seacrest. The rest is history. Seacrest is a megastar. And I think Dinkelman tried to commit suicide 2 years ago.
Yeah. It doesn't help that his name's Dinkelman.
I may not be right on that. It's something Winkleman, Dinkelman, Finkelman. It could be Dinkelman.
I feel like you would get names right. That's like your thing, is getting everybody's names right.
It could be Dinkelman. Also, from that, was that Vine of the kid doing the wink at Jill Martin? Was that from yesterday, too?
I'm pretty sure it was, yeah.
That was electric. That kid was that's like, how's that not viral? That was awesome. The kid Dunkelman. What's his first name? Brian Dunkelman. He's got a website, I think. It's like, what happened to Brian Dunkelman? Seriously. So that's the rundown. That's all we got. I don't know. Did I miss anything while I was gone?
Well, I got a question for you for the after show.
We're into the after show.
Yeah, when did Sales Guy just become the Joe Rogan of Barstool? Or not Joe Rogan, Joe Francis.
Huh. Yeah, he didn't know what I was talking about. There was a girl who got a smoke show shirt, and I'm like, can you send a picture? She's like, oh, I've been talking to Sales Guy, and he wants me to come up to his cabin so we can do like a photo shoot like on his snowmobile.
His casting couch. The dude is running casting couch out of Barstool.
And then he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, that's directly what she said. Like, it's like we sent her the shirt 2 weeks ago, and we're just waiting for the Like, where's the picture? Like, that's the deal. You get a smoke show picture, the shirt, we get, like, the picture. So, yeah, I don't know. And then he's got girls in the hot tub. I don't know what he's doing.
2 minutes later, he tweets out the picture of the chick in the thong in the hot tub. So he's clearly doing it. It's not even like it's a fucking theory or an idea. That's what he's doing.
Yeah. Gaz life. I mean.
Oh, man.
I mean, I don't know. It's Gaz life and Hank life, toe to toe, neck and neck. I don't know who's got it more ridiculous.
I mean, Hank, I thought Cribs was good.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Great.
Your refrigerator though, like you gotta just live, my man. Like that's not it. That's what I should have in my refrigerator, not a young growing boy.
Right.
Actually, a lot of it in general I thought was better than I expected. I mean, that place wasn't that bad. The fridge was like stocked. I expected it to be a homeless shelter.
Well, the nice thing was it's like any guy who reads Barstool, basically any stoolie in the world, has lived in a place like that. You know, a place with a bunch of dudes, mismatched couches, weird shit everywhere. I did like your hat collection. That was like when they on Cribs they show like their garage full of cars. Hank was like, "Here are my hats." It's like 3 like crumpled up hats in the corner. That was pretty funny. And also, Hank, the story about you trying to hang a Brady picture over your head. That's incredible.
Do you've had like sex in that bed? Girls will have sex with you in that bed. That's crazy. I'd love to interview those girls. I mean that's like our conference rooms being so horrible here that I used to take them like somewhere else to meet. I almost feel like if you think you're gonna sleep with a chick, and maybe I'm just old, you gotta like rent the hotel room. I mean that looks like where they kept the chicks in Taken, like in the when they're held hostages. But I guess when you're young, you get away with that shit.
The cave, they don't know until it's too late.
Yeah, exactly. That's
and then once they're all the way
like a sign that says that, Hank. Like it's too late.
Yeah, right, if you're reading this, it's too late. Something like this.
Put the Drake sign up.
You're in the cave.
What else? The only other thing I was in with the old people, the old folks for like 3 days. My parents are like Morty Seinfeld, and what's his mom's name?
I don't even know, to be honest.
Bad. I don't know.
I don't know if that's even like whatever. My parents are the Seinfelds. I told them that. My dad got like mad. He's like, "No, we're not." It's like, "Yeah, you are." For some reason, my mom always throws like vicious shade at Feidelberg, which I think's like really funny. Like out of the blue, like for unprovoked, she'll be like, "Feidelberg does a good job as long as he's not blackout drunk." It's like no idea where that comes from, but every time she mentioned Feidelberg, she's like, "Yeah, well, he's an alcoholic." So I think that's funny. I think maybe the kickball thing, not really sure, but other than that, not much to report.
What did you go to the track with your parents?
Yeah, Betty Seinfeld. They must never say her name.
Yeah,
well, it was 2 different women. Remember?
Yeah, I know. It was 2 different guys.
Oh yeah, you're right. Did you go to the track with your parents?
Yes, because it turned out one of my horses was running at Gulfstream, which was like an hour away. So I went with my parents. And again, my mom, not only horse racing people will get this, but John Velasquez was the jockey on our horse. He's as big a jockey as there is. It was the 8th race at Gulfstream. He runs, he probably runs like 5,000 races a year. Kentucky Derbies, the works. He comes over, we meet him, and my mom asked him if he was nervous. The reaction on this guy's face when my mom asked that question was like perfect. And by the way, Johnny Velasquez, if you're watching this, you fucking cost my horse the race. He had the worst trip of all time. He was Roman approval, was the best horse by a mile. Like literally, he came in 5th. If you stopped the race, like at the same amount of distance that the winner ran in my horse, we would have been ahead by 2 lengths. That was the math on it. He was just so. He might as well have been in fucking Tuscaloosa. He was so far outside. Anyways,
did you gamble the whole day with your
we were
parents?
only there for like 4 or 5 races. We golfed one day. The weather in Florida, I mean, I'm not gonna complain because it's 1,000 times better than here. But it wasn't that nice. It was cold and rainy.
Do you think Boca page views will be like in your future? You think you'll retire down there?
There's not much out there for me right now. I'll say that. It's some old people. We don't know where to go. I don't know if I'm just going to the old people's spots, but it was old.
This actually reminds me. So, what was the story behind the Snapchat of you at the Atlantic City party with like a bunch of black people?
Oh yeah, it was a bananas party, and I don't mean that like
drop the J word around there.
I won't. I'm not at that party. I wouldn't. It wasn't bananas in the sense like it was so much fun. It was just like, where am I? It was a pool in Harris? No, maybe. Someone's like, that's where you go, Harris. And
were you by yourself?
No. There were a couple people that I knew down there, so I went with them. We had like a little area, but it was the Caucasian to black person ratio was like 90-10. Blacks outnumber the Caucasians. It was just a weird. People like swimming. It was a very fucking odd scene.
Anyone swimming with their shirts on?
No, it was like you weren't supposed to go in the pool, but some people were going in the pool. It was just fucking weird. And I made that Snapchat. I don't know why I did that. In hindsight, I shouldn't be making Snapchats at like 3 a.m.
You were turned, man. You were turned.
I was KFC. I was turned to the max. I played in my online poker tournament, and then I just was like, fuck it. I lost. I'm going to go get turned. And that's exactly what I did. It's like, what is going on in Atlantic City on a Wednesday night? They're like, all the peeps go to Harrah's pool party. And it was a weird scene. I will say that. It was a weird scene.
All right.
All right.